Okay, let's unpack this. We've all felt that familiar tension, right? The drive for high achievement, but then also this deep yearning for inner clarity.
Mm-hmm.
When you really commit to a big goal, does success mean you have to completely scatter your mind? Or is there a way to achieve, deeply without losing yourself in the process?
It's the central dilemma of modern ambition, isn't it? I mean, we often picture this quiet revolution happening everywhere.
Right, like in boardrooms or in those high-stakes pre-game rituals.
Exactly. Or you see that image of the executive meditating on a skyscraper rooftop at dawn.
Yeah.
And the point isn't that they're trying to escape the world. They are fundamentally anchoring themselves before they step back into it.
That anchoring is crucial, because if you're not anchored, you're adrift. But I think for a lot of people, this whole idea of integrating deep focus and ambition feels, I don't know, very recent, very trendy.
What's fascinating here is that it's actually a return, not a trend. Long before mindfulness was a corporate buzzword, the core teaching was that the mastery of attention is the root of all transformation.
Okay.
And the real difference it makes is that clarity. Clarity makes your success precise. You start to want what truly matters, instead of just chasing hollow validation or accumulation of that. Well, it inevitably leaves you feeling empty.
And that gets right to the heart of the modern trap, doesn't it? I mean, the success model that's constantly sold to us is just pure accumulation. More speed, more inputs, more money, more reach. But the hidden cost of that model is internal. It scatters your mind, it forces you into a constant performance, and so you end up feeling emptier even after you've hit the biggest goals.
You're chasing the reflection, not the source.
Exactly.
And when that happens, you get that gnawing feeling that the work you did wasn't actually for you, it was for the audience, for the external scorecard.
So why are we still chasing that reflection even when we kind of intuitively know the sources inside? It feels almost engineered.
It is, in a way. It's because we've forgotten the historical precedent that shows the two are compatible. Take the example of Anathapindika.
Okay, who was he?
He was one of the wealthiest merchants in ancient India, a contemporary of the Buddha. He was instrumental in supporting the early community, but crucially, he wasn't asked to give up his wealth or shut down his business.
So he didn't have to choose.
No. He was taught how to conduct his business with profound wisdom and ethical conduct.
So his success wasn't diminished by his spirituality. It was elevated by it. But what does that really look like practically? I mean, he was a major merchant. How did he manage complex supply chains and finances while adhering to something like non-harming?
Well, it meant his word was his bond. His reputation for integrity became his greatest asset. That wisdom translated into honest dealings, fair wages for his staff, and a deep commitment to the community that went way beyond just simple profit. He understood that true wealth wasn't just what he possessed, but how securely and ethically he could operate. That kind of inner grounding makes you trustworthy, which is, arguably the strongest business advantage you can have.
And today, we don't have to rely just on these historical anecdotes. We have neuroscience that's actually catching up to this ancient wisdom.
Which is fantastic because it validates the physical reality of this training. When you consciously train your attention, when you sit and just notice where your mind goes, you actually rewire your brain.
How so?
The fear center, the amygdala, it literally calms down. It becomes less hair-triggered.
And crucially, the prefrontal cortex, which handles all our high-level functions like emotional regulation, complex planning, decision-making, that gets stronger.
Precisely. So the practical result isn't just some vague feeling of calmness. It means you negotiate better because you can pause before reacting. You lead with genuine, stable empathy because you're not always in survival mode.
And you recover faster from setbacks.
Much faster. You're simply less reactive and more responsive, which makes you just plain better at the job.
That's presence as a form of integrity. Let's, to really see this in action, let's go back to our two entrepreneurs. They're launching the exact same service.
Right. So the first one is driven entirely by fear.
Fear of failure, fear of irrelevance, fear of not being enough.
And every decision is filtered through that anxiety, which translates into tension, micromanagement, sleepless nights. The team feels that pressure, and while the sales metrics might rise, the cost is broken relationships and just this gnawing emptiness. the success they achieve is deeply costly.
And then you have the second entrepreneur. They still want to win, of course, but they practice daily meditation specifically to notice when their mind is hijacked by craving or, aversion.
So their motivation is rooted in service, in value creation. When obstacles come up, they pause, they breathe, they reassess. They still push, but they push from a centered place.
And the success of that second person is not only sustainable, it's fundamentally humane.
Right. I mean, success and spirituality converge not just in the final outcome, but in the quality of the journey itself.
That distinction, costly success versus humane success, that's everything. It means we have to find a way to maintain that internal balance when the external world is just screaming for our attention.
And that's where this key metaphor comes in. Think of a river. The surface is your external life. The deadlines, the conflicts, the frantic ambitions swirling all around.
Good.
But if you dive down, the depth is your inner ground. It's still. It's observing everything without being swept away by those surface currents.
So when we access that depth, even for just a few breaths, we stop identifying with the passing emotions. We realize, okay, I am having a moment of stress, but I am not my stress. I am not my title. It's not some mystical trick.
It is strategic sanity. I mean, in a world of infinite distraction and overwhelming input, attention is truly the ultimate competitive advantage. You simply cannot compete with someone who can see clearly, assess reality objectively, and act from a place of non-reaction.
Right, so if the river metaphor gives us the feeling, that inner stillness, what provides the actual map, the operating manual for maintaining that depth when the external river is, turbulent?
That's a great way to put it, because just saying mindfulness helps is one thing, but how does it become the actual architecture of sustainable success?
Yes.
And this directly challenges that modern myth of hustle culture, which tells us if you're not exhausted, you're not trying hard enough.
Exactly. That belief that productivity must be painful is so ingrained. It implies that if you have inner peace, you must be lazy or something.
And wisdom directly contradicts that. The Buddha observed that overexertion is just another form of delusion. Push too hard, you burn out, you collapse, you stop. Push without direction, and you just spin your wheels.
So what's the alternative?
The answer isn't just to sit still. It's to employ what's called right effort, or samavayama. It's the sixth factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, and you can think of it as the original emotional intelligence framework.
And it provides a precision map for that pacing. What are the 4 questions of right effort that anchor this process?
They are exquisitely practical, especially for an ambitious person. You don't ask, how hard should I work? You ask these 4 things.
Okay.
1, how do I prevent unwholesome, harmful states like panic, self-sabotage, or greed from arising in this process?
Yeah.
2, how do I abandon them when they've already taken root? 3, how do I cultivate wholesome states like focus, patience, or clarity that aren't yet present?
And the last one?
And 4, how do I maintain and deepen the good states that are already there?
Let's apply that to a deadline. Say your team is genuinely facing an aggressive deadline. How does an executive use those 4 questions?
They'd use them to manage energy, not just tasks. So the first question, preventing unwholesome states. I prevent panic by scheduling intentional breaks and communicating realistic expectations.
Right.
The second question, abandoning harmful states. If I notice my mind racing in anger at a coworker, I pause, I name the feeling, and I abandon the impulse to send a reactive email.
And the cultivation side.
To cultivate wholesome states, number 3, I intentionally implement systems that foster deep work and trust, rather than defaulting to emergency mode. And for maintaining the good, number 4, I protect the calm, collaborative flow we established last week by not overloading the schedule this week.
Applying those 4 questions immediately elevates the whole process beyond just mere exhaustion. It forces a middle way, like pacing yourself like an ultramarathoner who knows the goal is the finish line, not the first mile.
Right. Effort is the discipline between collapse and obsession. Mindfulness helps us intervene before stress becomes a true breakdown. It channels ambition towards sustainable value, not just the ego's hunger for validation.
Let's talk about that intervention point, maybe using neuroscience again. You mentioned that rumination and anxiety live in the default mode network. For those of us who aren't neuroscientists, what exactly is the DMN?
It's essentially the internal busy work loop our brain runs when we're idle or not focused on an immediate task. It's where we replay past regrets, invent future catastrophes, and generally just feed our anxiety. Mindfulness is precisely what helps us short-circuit that cycle by returning to the what is right now, disrupting that negative narrative loop.
That sounds great when you're on the skyscraper rooftop. But let's be real, if you're trying to make rent, humane success can feel like a secondary luxury. How do you start integrating awareness when the anxiety is purely existential, like financial stress?
That is a crucial point because we have to distinguish between genuine survival anxiety and self-imposed performance anxiety.
Right.
In the face of real financial stress, the mindful approach doesn't mean toxic positivity. It starts with feeling the anxiety without collapsing into panic. You acknowledge the fear. There's the old survival story.
Amen.
Then, instead of spiraling, you ask, what's actually true right now? What is one small, wise step I can take today that is grounded in reality, not in fear?
That's truth-telling with compassion. It focuses on your agency in the immediate moment, rather than the vastness of the problem. How does this translate into leadership during a crisis?
A mindful leader doesn't pretend a crisis isn't happening,
Yeah.
but they don't let the fear dictate their actions. They use embodied wisdom. They create space, both internally and within their team, to assess reality clearly and respond skillfully. They can hold both urgency and calm at the same time.
And that's a leader people trust when the stakes are highest.
Mm-hmm.
And in the realm that often suffers the most from ambition, our relationships, we so frequently confuse familiarity with genuine presence.
Here, the core practice is metta, or loving kindness. It's not just an abstract feeling. It's a daily practice of genuine presence and choice.
How does that work?
Imagine starting your day by silently offering well wishes. May you be safe. May you be happy to your partner, your child, or even a difficult coworker. It's strategic empathy, really, because every successful system, a family, a company, a team, it runs on trust. And trust is built in those micro moments of real, genuine presence.
That brings us to a critical point. Awareness alone isn't enough. I mean, we've all seen hyper-focused, incredibly driven leaders who still operate completely unethically. Focus can be used for harm, too.
Absolutely. And that's why we have to stress that awareness without ethics is dangerous. Mindfulness must be nested within moral discipline, or sila. You can be hyper-focused and still build a toxic company or a destructive financial scheme.
So sila isn't just about personal morality. In a modern sense, it's about operational ethics.
Exactly. Think of it as the alignment between inner clarity and outer accountability. It's modern corporate responsibility, ESG metrics, fair supply chains, honest communication, but rooted internally. True success requires that alignment.
And there's a simple test.
The test is non-negotiable. Before you speak or act, ask, will this lead to harm or to healing?
Wow. That simple test forces us to check our growth metrics against exploitation or our need for control against our partner's autonomy. And paradoxically, that integrity becomes your greatest competitive asset.
It does. People trust you when they sense you are grounded in something deeper than just profit or praise. They don't follow you because you're perfect. They follow you because they sense you are real.
So if we synthesize everything we've covered, the neuroscience, the strategic sanity of the river metaphor, right effort, and this non-negotiable of ethics, we arrive at the core conclusion.
Which is that spirituality doesn't simply coexist with success. It fundamentally defines it.
How so?
Success without awareness is just noise. You can achieve everything the world values and still feel like a ghost in your own life. That's what the tradition calls dukkha, a pervasive unsatisfactoriness.
It's the difference between two people reaching the same mountain peak.
Exactly. One reaches it breathless, already thinking about the next goal or the next photo op, experiencing nothing but emptiness once the adrenaline fades. The other arrives slowly, mindfully, feeling the vastness of the sky and the wind on their skin.
They don't need external validation.
They don't need it to prove they were there. They know. And in that quiet knowing, there is deep, stable joy.
Same peak, two completely different realities. It proves that success is truly about who you become while achieving it.
And that person you become depends entirely on the quality of your attention. Your success must be like a lotus, rooted in the real-world muck and pressures, but blooming with clarity and grace above all that noise. King Ashoka, after conquering vast territories, used his inner transformation to transform a brutal empire through Dharma.
So his success deepened with compassion.
It deepened rather than collapsing under the weight of his own power.
So after the applause fades, after the quarterly metrics are reported, the ultimate achievement metrics aren't external at all. They boil down to, did you stay true to yourself? Did you leave people better than you found them? And did you meet your own life with courage and kindness?
These are the questions that truly echo in the silence. And this inner alignment, this groundedness, it radiates outward. True power isn't control, it's responsiveness. And that responsiveness builds trust, it creates enduring culture, and it changes systems.
Which gives us that powerful inversion we started with.
Spirituality isn't the price you pay for success.
It's the price success pays for you, if it's real. The illusion is thinking you have to become someone else, some kind of hyper-optimized persona, to earn it. You don't. The world needs real humans who have done the inner work so they can show up fully in the outer world. Which leaves us with a final, provocative question for you to mull over. If true success is inner freedom expressed outwardly, a whole heart leading a powerful life, then what are you willing to release to make space for it?
Is it the need for approval? Is it the addiction to busyness, that exhausting habit of constant striving? Is it the persistent belief that you must suffer to succeed?
Or perhaps it's just the deep-seated fear that you're not enough, just as you are. Whatever it is, the life you're building is only worth building if it helps you remember your soul, and that is the success worth chasing.